I got 100 guns.
I got 100 guns, 100 clips. Nigga, I'm from New York, New York. I got a semi-automatic that spits next time if you talk, you talk. I got 100 guns, 100 clips. Nigga, I'm from New York, New York. I got a semi-automatic that spits next time if you talk, you talk. And I know y'all niggas is pussy, but not even vagina. Your monologues getting tired. Now it's time to ride. To print this, you fired. You no longer desire. So take off them silly chains, put back on your wire. I'm on fire, highly dipped in octane. Let East Coast bang, let West Coast bang. And Rule gon' bring the ghetto gospel to every hood possible. Pushing through in the sky blue, back with the guard you now. Preferably the 4-pound slugs flying at the speed of sound. Trying to catch the ears of niggas that's running their mouths. I might get my Brooklyn niggas to run in your house. I don't really understand what the running's about, but we hunters, we take pride in airing our prey out, leaving them laid out dead and just for sport, cause we ain't playing up here in New York.
I got 100 guns, 100 clips. Nigga, I'm from New York, New York. And you can tell the way the homies spit. That nigga, I'm from New York, New York. I got 100 ways to make a grip. Yes, I'm from New York, New York. And you can tell I get real ignorant. This nigga, I'm from New York, New York. And this is how we do. Nigga, I can see the coke in your nose. This ain't a movie, even he got his head blown on the globe. And I was just about to find God, but now that Mace is back, I think I'd much rather find a Menard. And everybody talking crazy how they AK spit, but we done disinvestigating and they ain't straight shit. Not me, I'm the truth, homie. Got the industry shook like, nah, nigga, Joe gon' let him loose on me. True story, I'm bringing the team back. Even Roy Jones was forced to lean back. My nigga Dre said grind cook. Now we killing them hard. Niggas saying I must have found Pun's rhyme book. Got bitches on top of the Phantom, and the pinky got bling like the ring around Saturn. Cook, crack, niggas fiend for that. And you already know the X is where the team be at.
I got 100 guns, 100 clips. Nigga, I'm from New York, New York. Yeah, rough riding, D-block and shit. Nigga, fuck what you thought, you thought. You can't take shit for granted, cause life is too short, too short. Yeah, got 100 guns, 100 clips. Nigga, I'm from New York.
Tuesday, January
7th,
2025, 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time.
Guaranteed you gon' die and you might get missed for maybe 2 or 3 hours till they light they spliffs. And that coke will get you a long time, but when I let them know the dope is out, it's like America online. Wise is awoken, and you know they say that you deserve it. Cause I'm in the hood like them little motorcycles. Stick up kids hopping out with the old rifles. Just doing shit for nothing. It's so spiteful. I'm just like you. Word that niggas wanna murk you is in the air. A double shot of yak and the purple is in the air. And I'm not cocky, I'm confident. So when you tell me I'm the best, it's a compliment.
I got 100 guns, 100 clips. Nigga, I'm from New York, New York.
And you can tell the way the homies spit. That nigga, I'm from New York, New York.
I got 100 guns, 100 clips. Nigga, I'm from New York, New York.
I got a semi-automatic that spits next time if you talk.
And this is how we do.
I mean, Remy Ma was nasty too. Make that a song request. Know what I mean? Fuck it. What about this right here? What about this track?
But love's got a thin line, the pun's got a big nine. Respect crime, but not when it reflect mine. The shit I'm on is wrong, but it lasts long. When the fast one upon to wake up with the stash going, I'm mad strong and my cream is fast. Smoke the green is grass, my bitch got the meanest ass and it tastes legit. I don't have to waste a whole case of Chris. All it takes is my pretty face, I'm against the wit. Lace the click, cause we all share, it's all fair. Like love and war, thug and law with the long hair. Big pun, the name that makes the kids run. Like spell the murder, reverse in the river, red rum. Come one, come more. If you wanna brawl, I'm the mighty Thor. Clothesline the motherfuckers like Steven Seagal. Cause all you're gonna get is your ass kicked up in the casket. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Punish your bastard at last. It's rappers that really blast your cash. Getting big willy niggas like Billy Baffin. Up at Jimmy's Cafe, having caviar. Cracking crystal at the bar. Smoking cigars, living large. We rob and still roll with the mob. Doing jobs for bills. I'm hard to kill. For real, nigga, guard your grill. I like the chill, sparking elegant high. I'm one hell of a guy. Fly, pelican fly.
What up, Duco? You know, politicking, Papa Tuco. I'm out here watching for Jay. Getting the salute, though. Shoot, bro. I got a waterproof suit, yo. Swerving like an AKA.
Shout out to that last live I had. Cuban was in the building. I'm telling y'all, tonight I'm not going to be here. 2 hours. I say by, let me see.
World premiere, loud and clear, lie and beer. Get the dough, blow up the show, disappear. Jump in the Cavalier, feeling marvelous. Street pharmacist, twist, audiblest. For pleasure, bring your territory several. Keep my workers under pressure, God, I'm saying fuck Lester. But that's alright, Duco. My heart nowadays too cold. Don't give a fuck
11, I'm out.
what you done, where you go. You know, peep this.
Before 11 o'clock, I'm here.
Like a secret agent, one night thieves. Roll up on you like sleeves. We like trees, bust thieves and stack cheese.
It's off the hook this year. Making mad money off the books this year. Ain't nothing but crooks in here.
Yes, sir. Don't worry. I'm gonna be dropping that footage. I'm gonna drop clips.
This year. Ain't nothing but crooks in here. Getting mad money off the books this year.
Hello, man. I don't like how my thing, it looks white. I want the dark mode. I like the dark version better. The dark. Whatever. I'll figure that out another time. Figure that out another time.
He could argue his way out of anything. He could sell sand in the desert. I mean, he was unbelievable. He was always writing. And he would come into the house and say rhymes. It was hip hop at the time, but I had never heard of it. I didn't know what he was rambling. He would come in the house and go hip hop, a hip to the hip hop, and I was like, what are you saying? You know, I go hit him in the face. What are you saying? You know, what are you talking about? He would start writing and you know, and play music and sing along with it and turn off the volume and make his own words to the rhymes. And I knew he was going to be someone very special.
Chris was hyper. You know, you wouldn't say still. Hobbies, just sports and football and basketball. Chris loved basketball more than anything. He loved basketball.
But he was funny. He always made me laugh. It's hard to make me laugh. I don't laugh too much. You know, I have a bitchy attitude somewhat, you know.
Everything was a
So that was the wifey.
joke, you know. He tried making people laugh. He made fun of people. He changed words to songs all the time. I mean,
he was just a clown. So every day we'll go to school and I'll see him and he'll just be like, you know, he'll be the type in the lunchroom, he'll pull up his sweats because he was always wearing sweats. So he'll pull up his sweats all the way up here. You know, then he'll run and he'll jump on the table and he'll just do all sorts of stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Just making everybody laugh. Then, of course, we exchanged numbers and he would call me and we started on a little dating, you know, thing. I introduced him to my mom. My mom took a liking to him. And from there, we just started, you know, chilling every day together.
Christopher adored Liza.
April 8th was the first time that he was like, oh, can you be, would you be my girl? That was when he popped the question, will you be my girlfriend? April 8th.
Yo, how the hell, this is my quick question. How the hell did he blew up in weight like that, yo? Because look, when he was younger, he was regular. He was like what, a buck 80 maybe, buck 70. Like average man.
From 1987. Obviously, I'd say yes.
He met Liza and he was head over heels with Liza. And Liza was younger than him. Not much younger, but she was young. They were 14 years old. So it wasn't something that you say, oh yeah, that's wonderful, that's great, you're gonna go get married, because they were kids, so it was kind of like a puppy love. But it was much more than puppy love.
Sometimes pick me up at 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll be chilling, walking around all
Shout
over
out to the
Bronx,
15 people in the building, hit the like button.
Going to Rochester, back to Bronx River. Go over there by Watson, by the basketball court, play ball.
Bronx River.
At night.
The sun
I would skip school. I wouldn't even go to school and just go home, chill. Next day in the morning, pick me up at 7, break out, just chill. We used to be some broke motherfuckers, have like $2. Sometimes nobody in the house, so he'll come upstairs, make him something to eat. I would have like $1, $2, buy like a big bakery bread, eat that, you know what I'm saying? It was like nothing. We never stressed about money. We could have had $1 million, we could have had $1. It was all the same. For some reason, I don't know, I was like his whole world, you know what I'm saying? I was like his first real girlfriend. Not the first person he ever had sex with. I was his first girlfriend he ever had, like, a girl his age. He used to deal with, crackheads and women and, like grown women, you know what I'm saying? He used to deal in the street, you know what I'm saying, a lot. So he dealt with that. He never dealt with, a girl. One time I went to his house. Crackhead. It was by 161st by Yankee Stadium. His mom was like on drugs and she was living there with some accountant. But I didn't know the seriousness of like his, his family, like his life.
Shout out to Lexi, 1 year member. Shout out to you, baby. Know what I mean?
Like what was going on, anything like that. And I was young at 14, you don't really ask them things and nothing like that.
I would say when Chris was a small child, when I did not have a problem with drugs, I was a nurturing mother. I was very close to my children. I did not know what drugs were at the time. And he had a loving family environment. Things changed when I became divorced from his father.
Chris loved my dad, and I loved my dad, but we weren't very close. My dad cheated on my mom, and my mom caught him.
I became single, and I started joining the single scene, and I experimented with drugs. Then I met Nicole's father. I stopped doing drugs at the time, but then about 2 years into the marriage, I realized he was on heroin. That's when I started. It was a great impact on my son, because I couldn't be nourishing if I was on drugs. That's not the way I wanted it to be. I wanted to be a mother to him, but at the time I didn't know how to deal with my pain.
It was hard visiting my mom when Tommy was there. Tommy was very hard on Chris. He was 11, I was 13, or even younger. Throughout the years, I was, and I hate saying that I was never old enough to defend him, because I should have. I should have did.
Oh, so the step pops was abusive, huh? Damn, man, my bad, I didn't hear. So what happened to Big Pun's father? His real father? What, he ended up passing away? Was it? I didn't hear. Or he just left, abandoned them. Damn.
Something, said something. Tommy would wake up Chris in the middle of the night. I mean, we're sleeping in the room, and Tommy would just come in and get up, and turn the lights on and make him get up and do push-ups and smack him in the back of his head. And I mean, he was just so harsh on him, and I would just like, I would be scared and I would shut myself in a corner.
Pretty though.
And Chris went through that when I saw it on the weekends. So I could only imagine what happened during the week,
He always says how Tommy came and he just took an apple and from deep just threw it at him and hit him in the face, which, the apple's like a rock. I know my brother would get stressed out sometimes and he would punch holes in the wall and eat the rocks in the wall. I know, like I said, my father, I never believed my father physically abusing him, but my father was hard on him, always comparing him and stuff like that. He wanted him to be like a military boy, and you go to my brother's room, we have holes all over the wall, that he just been eating.
Not talking about dealing with
anger at the time. He had a terrible temper.
He would get so red. I mean, so red that I think his kid's gonna burst. And then he would clench his teeth. And he started biting rocks. And as he got bigger, it was more rocks, bigger rocks. And I told him, that's gonna mess up your inside, because you can't be eating rocks. It was rocks.
Eating rocks? I mean, I don't know why they're sharing that detail. I mean, little kids do stuff like that. I mean, yeah, now, right? I mean, now. Now the other one wasn't his wife. The other one had to be one of his sisters. Another. They're gonna show her again. They're gonna show her again.
And ice. He just pushed. Gotta have teeth made of steel. And it was a bad habit. We couldn't do anything about it because not me. He would never tell me he was gonna get rocks for her, but he had Liza getting all this stuff, and she couldn't. I wouldn't, but she couldn't say no.
My father supposedly approached Tommy, but Tommy denied.
Yeah, that's his half sister. She's cute. That's his. They got the same mom, different dad. So her biological father, used to beat up, abuse him, all that. And I mean,
denied it all, and my mom denied it all. But my mom had a problem back then. She had an addiction that didn't allow her to be a better mom. So she didn't defend Chris.
He used to tell me he used to live in Fordham. He was like 7, 8 years old, going by himself to pay Con Edison, which is crazy. I got my son 8 years old. I can't never picture him like, yeah, go take this bill across the Bronx and pay a bill. You know what I'm saying? By yourself. He went through a lot of hunger, a lot of, not being dressed properly, not having proper shoes. My brother had a really tough life.
She was cute.
Sometimes he did things he wasn't supposed to do. He spent one night in jail, and that's all it took was that one night. And he said he was never going to go to jail again.
That's the worst thing that happened to anybody, any parent, to see your grandson or child or whatever in handcuffs. I didn't know what to do. I remember when he was arrested, he had this big bomber, leather jacket, and all these fancy rings, and chain down to here, and he thought he was the man, That's when I found out he was selling drugs. On the way home, I told him, Chris, I can go to this. How can you be selling drugs at your age? What are you doing? And he looked at me. He said, well, I would never get arrested. I would never let you go through that again. And then I said, where's all that fancy stuff you have? He says, no, they took it. I guess you have to hand all this stuff in. And they're going to keep it. I'll never come back. Never, because I'm never going to spend another night in there.
Then he got tired. He was telling his mother that he didn't want to sell any more drugs. And he didn't want to do that anymore. So she told him, well, if you don't sell any more drugs, then you got to leave. So she actually kicked him out because he didn't want to sell any more drugs.
Chris was house to house looking for a place to sleep. For a little while, he went to...
Damn, Mama grimy. Mama kicked him out because he wouldn't trap. God damn.
Stay with, I have an older sister, Christine. He went to stay with her mom, Linda. And Linda took him in, and he ate a lot. And she said, oh my God, Christopher eats so much. And, it's so hard. But, she says, well, you feed 3, you feed 4, no big deal. And that's how pretty much Chris was for a while. He was just going where he could sleep and where he can get a meal. And it was like that for a while.
Yes, sir. The love of
I
the
love
money.
my mom. My mom was not the best mom. All he ever wanted was for her to love him back the way that he loved her. That's all Chris wanted. He wanted our mom to love him. That's all. I believe my brother felt that he had no other choice but to do that, to help her. And she looked at it, I think, as if, he was hurting her, but he was helping her. I think maybe Christopher felt that when he put her there, that it would change her and make her a better person, get her off the drugs, and she would become a better mom. I think that's what Chris's goal was. I think that's what he wanted. That's what he expected.
I had a relapse, and I had to enter a methadone program, which was very difficult for Chris because I was having problems with Leo.
I mean, I knew Pun went through tough upbringings, but I didn't know it was this bad. What a deadbeat mom, y'all. Boo. Boo. Yeah, she looked like the lady that killed Selena. You know what I mean?
His drug abuse, and I was trying to pull out of that. I didn't want to be caught up in that anymore, but I did relapse, and I realized that I had to get rid of him if my life was going to turn around, if I was going to be any use to my family and be the mother that I needed to be.
I was in Puerto Rico. I remember hearing that she was sent to Long Island because they wanted to separate them. And then after I came back from Puerto Rico, then...
Damn, sister-in-law, all these pretty women around. She cute too. She okay, Morenita. All right.
I met him But I knew him in the context of the bochinche. So he was basically like, oh, the boy that likes my sister, and they're trying to get him away from her. And then after that, he didn't have a place to stay. He was basically homeless. He was 15 years old, 14, 15 years old, and he was homeless. And so my mother took him in. It was like more of like, I've been deep with like compassion towards him because he was like, you know, he was so young and he was in the street and he had nowhere to go. And then basically he became like a little brother and he lived with us. But he never really stayed around in the house. He would leave early in the morning. He would go play basketball and then he would come back late at night. Like he didn't want to be in the way. He had that, I think he had that embarrassment that he didn't have a place to stay, that we opened the doors to him and he didn't want to be like a burden. I remember he used to come and eat something and he wouldn't want to wash his dish immediately, like if he was a guest.
Was shaking.
I saw him one day and he was like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? You back? You know what I'm saying? Let's go out. I was like, nah, I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to get in trouble because it hurt me. It was hard for me to live out there for a year and a half in Long Island. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't close.
Gaines, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, Gaines.
My father. And it was a whole year and a half that I was away from my mother. And I was like forbidden to come to the Bronx. That he bounced to Florida for like a month just on vacation. And he had left his number with my mother. So I'm doing my thing and whatever. And he already bounced to Florida. And then my mother had came and she said, yo, Chris gave me his number. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I just left it there. A month, 2 months passed. And she's like, oh, what's up? You called him? I'm like, nah. So now my mother's stressing me if I called him. I'm like, nah, you know, I ain't calling, whatever. So then one day I called him. And we sat on the phone like, I don't know. I must have had like mad quarters or something. We stood on the phone mad long. He came the next day, the next day he came to see me. I remember exactly what he was wearing. Some blue jeans with a Gap shirt, the classic, you know, Reeboks. And I'm like, you know, I hear him calling me outside the window. I'm like mad nervous, like, oh my God, you know, he's here. And I'm like getting dressed and getting ready and shit. Then I come downstairs and it was like we wasn't never gone. We was never separated for that whole year and a half. You know what I'm saying? We hooked up like that. His grandmother at that time, she was also going to Florida. So he was supposed to go back out there with her. But that's since we hooked up. So then he decided he didn't want to go back to Miami.
Man, all Puerto Ricans go to Florida, yo. Florida, PA, Jersey, CT, Mass. But definitely a lot of them. Y'all know mad Puerto Ricans that end up going to Florida.
And then he said, Abuela, but I have a girl named Liza. I said, you know how many girls are in this world? There's girls in Miami too, believe it or not. Girls all over. No, but that's my first girl. That's my honey. I said, okay, Chris. But we're still going to Florida. So I started making arrangements. And when he saw that it was serious, and everything is packing, and they're taking the furniture, we're leaving the next day. And he tells me, I'm not going to Florida.
Yeah, the sister-in-law, La Morenita, she I don't know, she sounds innocent, like sweet, like kind-hearted.
I'm gonna make
natural beauty too.
Whatever he was gonna make of his life, I'm gonna make it here. He said, Abuela, you have to know, I'm gonna be 18 in 2.5 weeks. Please don't make me go, and please don't call the authorities. Could I force him? With all the problems this child has had in his life, and of the relationship that we had as a grandmother, I said, I cannot ruin whatever is up here in his mind.
One day I found out I was homeless, and I was like, but how every day you come and clean? And, you know, he was like, nah, you know, sometimes I stay in my friend's house, I'll take a shower, change it. He said, I have my clothes stashed in this building. He had his clothes stashed in this abandoned building in the Bronx, so in Interville, my whole place, right? And there was like a lot with a pump. He said, sometimes I just wash up in the pump or, you know, crazy stuff. I was like, wow, you know, so that's crazy. So then I had a little money saved up, and me and my mom, we got him a furnished room at Hunts Point. So then he got a furnished room at Hunts Point, and from there he started bumping trucks at Hunts Point for money.
Moxie, why do you think I have that up?
So one day he came and he called his lawyer, and he was like, his lawyer been in his family like for 40-something years. So he called the lawyer. He was like, yeah, you know, Gersag, you got any money? You know, he called him to like borrow some money because he was like really fucked up. The lawyer was like, oh my God, Chris, where you been? I've been like looking for you. You know what I'm saying? You settled this case. Because when he was like 4 or 5 years old, he fell off a building in Clinton Towers in Manhattan. They were doing some construction in the park, and he climbed up a couple of stories up, and
Yo, that's bugged out. What I was gonna say, yo, can you imagine like you go through that? Can you imagine? You get a lawsuit, you get the money from a lawsuit 20 years ago. 20 years later. Can you imagine? 20 years later, 15 years later, you get money from a lawsuit? It's unexpected? That's crazy. Who's this? Who's this? I don't do drugs or drink alcohol. Everyone is surprised. Moxie, you don't need that thing, that big thing up. It's done, not said. What you mean by that? What? Moxie, why do you think I have it up? Periodically, I take it off. But there's a reason I have it up there.
Fell, which caused his ankle to break off. So the mother put a lawsuit, and they never settled it until he was 18. So by the time he was 18, they settled and he had like $500,000. So he was like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? He was paid. He got his 18-year-old kid, he got like
$500,000? Nah. $500,000 in the 90s? Nah, so Pun was like, that was what, like, he got that, like, yo, let me see, what was 500K? 500K in the 90s worth. Today, 500K is 1.2. $1.2 million. 1.2, yo. He had the equivalent of 1.2 million. Shit.
$1,000,000. So he went over there to the lawyer. He got a, advance a couple of G's or whatever. So he came through with like mad coats and he had his rope chain and he came with me a leather jacket, had a leather trenches black.
Oh. And I guarantee you this. You know who came back around? Mama. I guarantee you his mama came back around. Or he probably went out his way to look for her. Yeah, that's why he got fat. That's why he got big. And he blew it all. Please remove that thing so we can see behind, though we won't be able to see behind without that thing. What, bro? Why do you, I'm gonna put them in timeout because y'all being dumb. Why do you think I take it on and off? Put you in timeout for a little minute. Think about what you said.
Jacket. One day we riding on the train, and he came here and asked me, we had like 3 G's, 4 G's in our pocket. He was like, yo, you wanna go get this apartment? And already at this time, my mother was being real hard ass, so she had gave me a curfew, like by 7, I had to be in my house, or if not, she was gonna throw me out. So I was like, So then he was like, yo, let's get this apartment. So I was like, yeah, but if I got this apartment, I gotta get this like tonight because if I'm not home by 7, then I'm gonna get thrown out. Like I was stressed, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, she's gonna throw me out, whatever. So I bet. So we went all the way to 230 something up in White Plains and went to this little Blake Realty. And we saw this Jamaican guy who's like, yo, we gotta get a crib. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get it like today, tonight.
Also on White Plains Road. Okay. That's over there by like, he had a disease? Oh, okay. Are you sure? Or he was hungry? Dang, huh?
And Pum was like putting the mad pressure. Like, no, but I got a couple of places, you get, so he's like, no, tonight. We got to get a place tonight. So we got our first crib right there, 221st and White Plains. We paid for the down payment, went to the place. It had no light or nothing yet, you know what I'm saying? And then,
Yep. All the yardies over there. That's over there by Boston Post Road. Comelon.
and like 2 months later, we got married in May 5th. We did the whole City Hall thing because who was going to invite to a wedding? It's not like we didn't have money for a wedding. But his family was against him marrying me. My mother wasn't happy about me getting married. So, like, who were we going to invite? You know what I'm saying? We were just doing it for us. So I went to the City Hall. We had a license. I went with his wedding gown, and he had the tux. We had the limo. We did it up, though, in the City Hall. We was doing it up. You know what I'm saying? I only got one photo. You know, the guy that paid the $5 photo, that's the only photo I have for my wedding. And from there, we got in, we did the whole wedding thing. My father came through.
Nah, I mean, so 90s.
You know what I'm saying? Because he had to sign me off.
Yo, so he blew all that bread, yo.
I was a minor, and my father looked like he was dying. He came with his security guard outfit, you know what I'm saying, uniform. He was not even trying to be there. My mother, she looked like they just stabbed in the back a couple of times. Chris's mother, Gail, she was there for witness. She was not happy. She was just loving it because everybody else was stressed out, and I guess she loved to see everybody else stressed out. So she was just like flaunting, like, yeah, my son getting married, like, you know, whatever. We did our thing. We bounced. We went to a hotel for a night. That was a little honeymoon. We went stood in the Marriott Marquise for one night. We ate dinner. We chilled, and we was back at the crib the next day.
We used to sit in the kitchen table. He used to like to play Scrabble, and he used to beat me all the time. He always used to be like, oh, you're in college and I could beat you, because he was very smart. And he would just like throw the tiles on the board, and wherever we would let him say, okay, that's a word. And we used to say, I challenge you. And when you would go in, it would be a word. And then sometimes, and he was actually very good at building on the words that you had already put. So he would always try to build on the word that I put, and I would be bragging, okay, 36 points, ha, ha, ha. And he would take either a suffix or a prefix or add something, and then it was 100 points. And I think that carried on to then his music. He could talk about all kinds of subjects. He wasn't the type of person that was on the street but was ignorant. He knew about politics. He knew about the weather. He knew about, anything that had to do in the world. I mean, he could have a conversation about anything.
Sage introduced me to Pun. Came in front of my window.
Oh, man. Look who it is. Look who... He was the special guest, our last live.
Said, what's up? I knew Sage before Pun. That was my man. And he was always with the rap thing. And I was always with the rap thing, but on the hobby tip, on the low, nobody was shy. And, we met each other like Triple Sage was my man like that. And he came to my window, said, what's up? He had this kid with him. He had a Carhartt suit, walking up and down, getting staying still. So I was like, what's up, baby? I'll be down in a minute. I came downstairs. I met Chris. You know what I'm saying? I used to call him Moondog. And, from the first day, he just was mad cool dude. Showed love. He just showed love. He just had like to have fun. Everything he said was just funny. You know what I'm saying? This nigga just was it. It was a total package from the beginning.
So we met on the basketball court in my block. He was real slim, like, you know what I mean? He was like a $180 at that time. And he was never back there like...
Yo, I said that. I said he was like a $180. He's like a $180.
He was good at anything. Like anything he put his mind to, he'd be good at it. That's how he was. But I was the only one rapping back then. Pun was more into like Surface and Luther Van. He had that soul in him, that harmonizer. He could do a song. He used to write songs and shit like that. And then he just, he just changed it over and made it to rap.
And he started coming up with things just like, kids do it up in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? You start putting up a band together. It was just like me and him. And we all, we both liked to rap and we love hip hop. And he used to love music. That was his thing, music. Me, I used to just write hip hop in class, and then we got together. We started showing, when we rap, we started I started realizing how nice he was. Then he said the same thing about me, and then it was just like, let's just make a little group and see how far we can take it. But some playful shit, some kid shit. And we did, it was Rough and Rugged, then it was Total Package. Then Sage always used to rhyme, so Sage was having a little problems with his group that he was doing it. Something happened there. Sage was like a free agent, so we added him to the group. So that's how we became Full Eclipse.
Full Eclipse is what started everything. That's our foundation. That's where Pun really came from. That's where Cuban really came from. Sace, me. When we had Full Eclipse, it was straight up family. I can't even say had because we're still here, just -1. God bless. When I think of Full Eclipse, I think about the car, 2-door car. all of us in it. Fun. I think about the pellet guns and us bugging out, shooting out windows. I think about when we was hungry, me, Punk, Cuban, and Sace. No money, no food. We used to go park across the street from Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know what I mean? And wait for the cat with the biggest bags to walk out of there. When you see the cat walk out with the biggest bag, I'll deliver.
Nah, I mean, damn, them niggas was hungry. Yo, but so what happened with all the money? I gotta hear what happened to the money, man.
Then as time went by, they started getting more serious. I'm saying they started coming to the house more, started writing more. 1993 is when they became Full Eclipse.
In the politics.
So like the money just ran out? Like what the?
Gotta get involved as far as we want to get a deal. So obviously Punch standing out heavy, you know what I mean? Big. He's a big guy. He's moving, he's jumping off of stages. His lyrics is unbreakable. So they got Flex was like telling Joe, yo, these niggas from Black. Come on, man.
Joe wasn't even trying to even listen to us. Like,
not at all.
It was a regular thing, you know what I'm saying? As far as like people coming up to her saying, "No, rap," and the kid raps and just blows them off. It's just like, you know, I'm doing my thing, whatever. So it was just like that when he first saw us. You know what I'm saying? We, you know, the inner crew had to really put it to his face.
Yeah, his inner crew.
His inner crew, which was, you know, guys like Flex, Little Hack, you know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, these niggas is nuts.
First, I heard about Pun through my projects, through Little Hack and Flex. Everybody kept telling me that, you know, it was these Spanish kids that was rhyming, and it was so hard.
Yo, Joe was big. Yo, Joe was husky back in the day. What up, Etho? Joe was super husky back in the day.
Hard as me as a Spanish nigga to get on where I was like, you know, damn, another Spanish group or whatever the case may be. So one day I'm driving, one of them weird days that I'm driving by myself, and I stop in front of the store and I see these niggas rhyming and shit. So I go in there and get my little Diet Pepsi and I come outside and all of a sudden Pun is like, yo, let me rhyme. First I look at him, I'm like,
not the Diet Pepsi.
Like, damn, this nigga's a big nigga right here. So then he started rhyming. He was like, blow the sun away. Me and my niggas play hard.
Nah, yo, not the pot calling the kettle black. This is a big nigga right here. Punk. Fat Joe is sick. Oh, this is a big nigga right here. Nigga, you look just like him. What's wrong with him?
Hardball, strictly hardcore. But when I heard him, I was just like crazy. Like, oh my God. Like, yo, this nigga's incredible. Like, I couldn't believe it. I remember that night I didn't even sleep. I was like just bugging. Like the next day I called him up. I was just finishing off Jealous One's Envy, my album.
Wait, they're not even gonna talk about the money no more? Yo, it must have not been nowhere near 500K. Cause that's it. Like, y'all made it. Y'all had equivalent to 1.2 million. And y'all fucked the bag up. So it must have not been that much. It probably was like, it was probably like 80 racks. Like 80 racks in the 90s. No. Like 80 racks today. It was probably like 80 racks. It'll make sense. That's it? Y'all not gonna talk about the money no more? Like, what the fuck?
And he came to the studio and I was doing that record, the dedication. So then we had this one joint that I was putting on, me getting on, and I put him on immediately the next day. Like, I would never do that. Not now, not never would I.
Fuck the 30%, bro. Don't matter, bro. That's still a lot of bread. They still had close to $1 million, even if after the lawyer, nigga, that's still close to $1 million. What did they do with all that bread?
I just, meet somebody and put him on my album the next day. So I knew he was that nice. And at the time, I knew nobody could fuck with him. The nigga was multi-talented. Like, even a lot of niggas just is talented hardcore-wise. A lot of niggas have a bigger vision, and they can make songs that, are hits, mainstream hits. So I knew to actually take it there. You know what I mean? Which is incredible.
Out of nowhere, Fat Joe walks in with this big dude. You know, I swear they look like twins, which is obviously why that came about down the line. And you know, Joe was like, "Yo, this dude can spit. He's ill." He came in with the stocking cap on his head, you know, and he said he's Big Punisher. And just to look alone, he looked like what he was gonna sound like. But we didn't get to him spit yet because J. Rue was hogging the mic, and so was Big Jazz, because of course they trying to break their record. And this dude has no deal, and he hops in, says, "Let me just kick one verse," and everybody steps aside, and he just completely just shatters the mic, you know, where I was just so stunned. I was like, man, he gonna get a deal.
And from there, you know what I'm saying, they were still doing the Full Eclipse for a while, you know what I'm saying? But Joe was really feeling him. And then the Full Eclipse itself was having little problems here and there. Shit wasn't jumping off. So I just told him, you know, you're gonna get, you know, Joe's willing to sign you, you know what I'm saying? Just do your thing and put your people on. So that's how it started with that.
I just told Pun, yo, you the best one. You got to do what you got to do. We get you on, and then, you know what I'm saying, you turn around, and we put your mans on. That was always the goal. That was always the focus. As a group, they were rhyming about stuff that, you know, really wasn't going to pop off. They was rhyming about devil-type worshiping and all kind of crazy shit. I knew that he understood, and he had the talent it took to become a star. So, of course, we got Pun on it. He was happy because not everybody could get on. So he was on it. We put them on records, and we let him ride and be on the videos and do everything and just roll with us. And we finally, after Pun Pop, I got Terror Squad Records. I signed Cuban and Sace, you know, as a, like, you know, we was going to work with them, you know what I'm saying? And we was just going to put them on and put their records out because that was a promise that Pun had made them.
If one thing I know about Fat Joe, he's a businessman. You know what I mean? So I feel he saw the opportunity. This is a cat that's hot. He on the rise. He repping the Bronx. He got style. He got delivery. And, you know, let me jump on this.
I remember when he came one day, he was like, oh, I met Fat Joe. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, who's Fat Joe? You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, you know, what's that song that you had? I got a flow, Joe.
I got a flow, Joe.
I got a flow, Joe. I got a flow. I'm like, word, we was watching videos all the time.
I got a flow. I got a flow. I got a
flow. The Boricua cat. I'm like, word, that's cool. You know, whatever. Then I remember he came to the house.
He got the Carl Canal.
They talked, and from there we just have meetings on and off. And he would like break out with him, you know, on shows and tours. And then from one day to another, you know what I'm saying, he told me that he was getting signed, which, you know, he wasn't. I don't remember the exactly specific day when he came. Yeah, I'm getting signed. You know what I'm saying? But I just remember always Chris being in work mode. He was always writing. He was always with ideas.
Me personally, I was growing. Like I did, I shot you. I put him in the video. All my videos, Hustling is the Key to Success and all that. I had Pun in the videos. I was doing remixes for my songs like Wishful Thinking with Be Real, Coogee Rap. I would throw Pun on. Like everything I would do, I would throw Pun on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just so that people could start knowing who Pun is. You know what I'm saying? Just bring him out there like that. Before Biggie had died, I had Politic. I was going to do a song with Biggie and Pun. And that's all I was trying to do, was trying to get his notoriety out there. At the same time, all the shows we was doing, he was, you know, hyping up. He was with me. He used to hate that because before they knew who he was Pun, he'd come on stage and they scream like if he's Fat Joe. And we made a deal that I go on stage first. And he's not trying to have him screaming at him as Fat Joe. And what's so unique about Pun is that no one knew who he was, and he ripped the fucking show. Like, you know, that's very rare. Like, artists nowadays, you need a hit record for them to rip a show. Like, Pun, with nobody knowing him, would just rip it down wherever we was at, North Carolina, South Carolina, wherever we was at. He was just special. You know what I'm saying? There ain't too many special people like that.
Pun brought to Terror Squad another side. Terror Squad, if you listen to Joe's first album and second album, straight street gutter shit. And with the ill production to back that up. Pun brought something else to the table. He brought the extra oomph. He took it to the ladies. He took it to the lyrical cats. He took it to the radio. Pun got on that album at the last minute. Joe's album was already good. So it'd have been a fight if Joe would have still been fighting for his attention. By Pun coming in, repping TS, he took the TS thing to the next level because TS already had the respect.
There's no doubt about it. You know, Pun was the shit.
Nah, I mean, the greatest MC.
I mean, Joe was the hustling Don, you know. Pun came and was the missing piece to not only Joe's puzzle, but the hip-hop puzzle. So just by Pun getting down with Joe, it saved everything. It saved him.
Joe was his manager. Joe was the guy who talked for Pun when it came to like big meetings with Steve Rifkin and all that, all the big dogs. Joe was his voice. And Joe's voice became more powerful after Pun kept delivering his hits. It was a perfect team. It was just a perfect team between them two in business. But it didn't even out when it came to Pun's once. Even though Pun wanted a lot of things, Pun deserved it. Pun made millions of dollars for people. Pun kept a lot of people alive to this day, kept their reputation alive, kept their name alive, made people feel proud of themselves, built this whole shit. This is Pun's idea right, that we living out.
Oh, that was his brother, man. That was, you know, that's what it is, man. That was one right there, them two.
No way, MXC. No way.
And like I said, that's all I knew is every time I seen him, I knew he was right there with him. It goes the same way. So, as far as them being, like I said, celebs to me, it wasn't like that. I looked at the niggas as like, yo, that's family right there. Shit, if it was a little baby argument, we all would laugh about it. You know what I mean?
Business and friendship, you're gonna have some clashing with each other. And I've seen Joe and Pun have their clashes with each other, but still they didn't let it show to the public or to the industry, and the records didn't stop, coming out a certain way. They still came out the way Pun liked to put it out. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing I liked about that is, again, I fought many times with my partner, but at the same time, we always let the music overpower any differences between us. And they showed the same signs of that.
My job was to take care of Pun, to make sure that nothing happens to him, make sure that nobody takes advantage of him, make sure that he wouldn't go to jail for 1,000,000 years, because he definitely could have been a candidate for going to jail for 1,000,000 years. He had a far belief on reality. You know what I'm saying? This guy would be walking around with 10 guns. 10 guns gives you 30 years in jail. So I was also, the big brother that would nag him. You know what I'm saying? So I can remember a bunch of times when, I used to go to his house and throw everybody out his house and just be like, yo, get the fuck out of his house. And, Pun, he'd just be like, yo, y'all got to go, and you know what I'm saying? So he would do a lot of stuff. I'm more careful. I'm a lot more careful and aware of what can happen if you do certain things. But Pun, he really didn't care. Wasn't scared of the cops, wasn't scared of this, wasn't scared of that. And that used to scare me, that he wasn't scared of nothing.
Can't be pussy. That's it. Yeah. He did not want to look like he was pussy at all, and nobody, anywhere. He'd do whatever. He didn't care how many platinum records he sold. I mean, he summed it up in one interview one time the best. He said, trying to stand about me. He said, I'm a man about pride. He said, you can do this to me, you can do that, but as soon as you disrespect me, I'll kill a nigga. I don't care. He said, I kill him. And I would spend my whole life in jail, probably crying every night. But the fact that you disrespect me won't stop me from killing you. I remember he was out with Joe or something riding around, and it came on the radio, and he had called me to pay attention to the radio that was gonna come on, and he called me. He's like, "Oh, how do I sound?" I was like, his voice it sounds different than on the radio. You know what I'm saying? His voice than him talking to you in person. But I was happy. I was like, "Yo, it's how hot." It was good. He was excited. He was good. He was happy about it.
Pride was down for
me and him sat down. One day he told me, "You gonna go gold?" And me, as being a rookie too, you know what I'm saying? I idolized guys like G-Rap, I came in the Juice Crew, all them niggas that are nice in the game. And I was like, yo, you probably sell it $300,000. You gotta remember that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was $300,000 back in the day, so I'm saying that's a lot more. $100,000 to me is great too. But I didn't know how the business was ran, and you go $500,000, let's go. So I just said $300,000, that's in the middle of line, and you can't lose. You're in the middle, you get another shot when you sell it for $300,000. So he fucking flipped on me. He was like, hey, I'm gonna fucking go.
We were so excited. He called and he was like, I did a video. You gotta see it. It's coming on in such and such time. And, I think, we were all glued to our TVs when that video was coming on. And we were so excited. And right there, I said, oh my God, my brother is so talented. He's so smart. I mean, I always knew he was, he had it in him, but it came to life, my brother was on TV.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pun held the record for the most amount of appearances on other people's projects within such a short time span. Pun must have did like 24 within a year and a half time of other people calling him to get on their record. Pun finally got Latinos, a huge demographic in hip hop, been there since day one, a voice. It's like Pun fucking catered to the blacks, to the whites, to the Latinos. Pun made it hip to use the cha-cha beats. It was like around that time, even Eve had a hit record around that time with the one dun 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 dun. Little albums here and there started popping up a little. Hey, let's do this for the Spanish people. Joints. That was because of Pun.
Pun was just incredible, man. Just like,
legendary, man. Yo, that's crazy. He really passed away in his prime, yo.
He was too fast for me. Too fast for anyone. He's a dude that could have done 10 hours. He could have did the Tupac. You know what I'm saying? He could have did the Tupac all day, double albums, triple albums, because, he was writing constantly. He sort of did it when he did so many songs with different people. But his work ethic in the studio, it's different times, man. Different times with different modes. Sometimes Pun wouldn't even want to be around. He felt like you was forcing him to be on the song. He would come for 10 minutes, spit his verse, leave. Sometimes he would be in there where you couldn't get him out of the studio for days, sleeping in that motherfucker. He was just had different modes, you know what I mean? It was all on Pun, you know what I mean? Pun was going to decide whatever he wanted to make happen.
He was as great as, you know, how people look at Rakim, and look at Nas, and then look at, you know, Coogee Rap and Tupac and Big. He was like that with his first album. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't really notice that. Like, you know, Big had 2 albums. Pac had about 57. You know what I mean? But Pun did a lot of that shit with his first album.
He was saying real shit in his rhymes. He wasn't coming up with no mythology shit. This is shit he felt when he was going through. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't really listen to Pun, man. Pun is one of the greatest fucking rappers ever. The first album I played with anybody, Pac, Biggie, anybody. Lyrics, they don't got his lyrics. They don't got it. Not the way he put it together. Never. It's just common sense.
Charisma, compound metaphor, punchlines, everything. It's flow, delivery, everything was so.
Maybe they'll recognize it, you know what I mean? Maybe they won't, but I know it beats. For me, it'll always be the best, you know what I mean?
Nicky Young, damn, Nicky Young been around that long? Yo, Nicky Jam been around that long? I didn't know, yo. Isn't Nicky Jam half Dominican, or am I bugging?
Todavía porque sus 2 primeros años son blancos, ¿sabes? Él siempre iba a hacer la cara y seguirá haciendo la cara de la primera cara latina en representar tan grandemente, ¿sabes? Todos los latinos que oyen hip hop, que son fanáticos del hip hop, sabían que Punk era el líder.
Lo cangri. But then, yo, I didn't realize Nicky Jam was around way back. Damn. I didn't know, yo. Oh, his dad is Dominican. Yeah, I know he was half. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know Jam would be, that long, yo.
There's nobody fucking with that dude. Even lyrically to this day, it's like some of these dudes can't do what he did. The way he put the words together, the way he picked, you know, the punchlines, his character, his wit, his charisma, all of that in one makes for one of the greatest rappers of all time. Period.
I did a lot of shows with Pun, and like I said,
that man Scoop, R.I.P. to him, yo. He just passed away over here in CT. On stage of a heart attack, yo. Crazy.
It was like you could see that the women loved him, and like I said, Joe said to me, I've done a lot of hardcore records, but this go around with Pun, we're seeing a whole different audience, man. We're seeing the women.
Yeah, but Arcángel came out like 2007, 8, right? Like Arcángel wasn't lit like that until like 2007, 8.
You know, a whole different type of love. I saw, you know, women jumping up and down for this cat, and that was just a crazy experience.
Arcángel half and half, right?
He definitely put a bar that you got raised to. If you're gonna be that, you're gonna be an MC, Latin MC, compete in black music. Pun is the bar.
And it's like a lot of cats doubt him, and I don't even know if it's on some Spanish shit, but you know, it's full Dominican as it is. So for a cat like him that was doing what he was doing,
he was raised in Puerto Rico.
First time I didn't know it was gonna get that big. I mean, it caught me by surprise, even though I knew he was gonna make a name before to take off and to really get the support of not just the hip hop community, but the Latino community definitely supported him and put them basically as their mayor.
The buzz is there, man. You kind of knew because he did the 50 MCs with me before the album dropped. So when I got to work with him that day and actually be in the whole vocal booth and working together, that's after that day I knew he was a monster. You know what I mean?
A la misma vez, pues, pegó un puente de que, ¿verdad? Todos los latinos y los americanos se fijaran en los boricuas y que nosotros todos los... He did Beware for the street niggas. He did Super Lyrical with Black Thought, who at the time, you know, even to this day, is semi-untouchable when it comes to rhyming and freestyling off the head. And Pun gave him a run for his money. That's one thing. Pun was always on some more. If I do a track with somebody, it's to eat him up. Ain't nobody beating me on the wrong track, you know what I'm saying? Which explains a lot of the sick-ass verses on other niggas' tracks.
how can I deny it? I had to sit in the studio and say, whoa, I gotta step my shit up because he's coming for everybody's head right now. Pun gets a 10. He's the top of the line. As far as where he sits in my, category, I mean, I put him with the greatest. I put him with Biggie. I put him with Pac. I put him with Melly Mel and Rakim, and because he came out in this quick at this time, and you knew it was real serious. You know what I mean? It wasn't like there's a lot of rappers out that they're gonna be out for another 3 years, and I'm not gonna take them serious. As soon as Pun came, you know the ones who's the truth. You know it straight up the back, and he was one of them.
Hit that like button, y'all. Feel you.
Real Latin, real Boricua to go platinum in this rap business. It let us know that there was love out there for us. It let us know that we could go platinum. That lifts the self-esteem of an entire nation, of an entire Latin nation.
See, Pun is one of the dudes that valued the true essence of the game, and how could he not still be a player? He's not in it to be MC Hammer. He wasn't in it to be one of these fake niggas. You know what I mean? Pun kept it gritty. I'm saying so. And you could tell that with his rhymes. You could tell the shit he knew about, the shit he was talking about, his music. The niggas loved hip hop. So, I mean, he's always gonna be that player.
The game sucks. A lot of dudes don't really emphasize on the MCing aspect or even the lyrical aspect. They just rap. Pun put thought into his music. You know, Pun kept niggas on their toes. You know, Pun would have hip hop fans like, yo, did you hear what he said? You know, and he's so needed right now. So needed right now. Because not that many people are doing it the way he did it.
Set up a trend. Remember that. First Latino nigga to go platinum. That's extra real right there. And that shit go worldwide. You know what I mean? That shit go all the way around the world.
Let me tell you something. Anybody who changed the complexion of the game deserves a spot in rap history. He made Latino rap, Puerto Ricans legitimate. And that's something that no one can take away.
Word.
We weren't as close as I wish we should have been.
When Pun went platinum and we threw a platinum party and how we always just jumping up and down with the plaque, I put him out, but at the same time we grew together. So a lot of shit that he was going through, I ain't never been through, like as far as, you know, getting big like that. So next thing I know, we rented mansions and we going to the Grammy. You know what I'm saying? And we got our suits on and we fronting like we do this every day. You know what I'm saying? We like, whatever, we here now. What?
Chris, wouldn't it be great if you were nominated for a Grammy? You know, have you heard anything yet? And he said at that moment, hold on a minute, I have another phone call. And then all of a sudden I hear like yelling in the background and screaming. And he comes back on the phone. He goes, that was the phone call. I just got nominated.
And we went out there. We stood out there like for a month in LA. We had this big ass mansion. Stood out there for a while. And then once we got, it was the actual day of the Grammys. You know what I'm saying? He had a high-ass outfit on, you know, we're all dressed up, you know, he's all iced out. I did his hair and everything. Got in a limo, Brooke guy went over there. And it was weird because it's like, I always used to watch the Grammys on TV, you know what I'm saying? And to watch people walk down the red strip, the red carpet, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I was like, wow, it'd be going to be cool to be there one day. And I was actually there, you know what I'm saying? And I remember just walking into the crowd and just, you know, he was walking, I was a few steps behind him, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, and I just see everybody cheering for him. It was like crazy. And he was just walking down that aisle and it's like, and I was like, wow, it's crazy because we would sit all the time and watch, you know, the Grammys and the awards, you know, year after year. And that's when it dawned on me, like, wow, I never thought that he would be here at this time.
Big dream was to do that Trinidad fight against De La Hoya, which was one of the biggest things we ever did in our lives.
A big rivalry too.
Most prideful things was going on out there with Trinidad hit him with the gloves when we was in the ring. It was just like a movie. I know we made a lot of people proud.
Wow. I mean, Pun, he loved when he was invited to come rap at the Felix Trinidad fight. That was it. You know, that was the day that he considered himself a legend. And I remember that Joe told him, we're not legends yet. And Pun was like, no, we are. We're legends, bro.
Word. That's dope.
Big Pun was a great husband. I mean that's the bottom line. You know, his wife stood with $10,000 in her pocket. She stood with a new car. If it wasn't the Benz, it was a truck. You know, he had it in houses.
I hope I could love somebody the way he loved my sister. You know, besides someone who's family, he loved my sister to death. I honestly, he'll do anything. He did anything for my sister. No matter before the rapping, before all that bullshit, there was always, you know, he was there. He supported 100%. You know, he could have easily blown up and
peace. You know what I'm saying? I find some dumb bitch to do everything for me too. You know, that's easy to do. Nah, he stuck it through. Those are his kids. He loves his kids and my sister. That was one thing I knew for sure. That's
damn. This nigga's flagrant. He flagrant. Yeah. I find a dumb bitch to do everything.
That's one thing I can never deny him. Pun was a great father and always had his kids around him. There's no way he would go without his kids. Certain things I don't know about. You know what I'm saying? He always took care of them kids. You know, those are the only kids you see with a fucking 4-wheeler truck with a rims and system and TVs on them. I mean, them kids right there done lived out some dreams. My kids haven't seen what they seen. Their father was renting mansions, was being in hotel suites bigger than the world. You know what I'm saying? They lived like a crazy, ill life, man, at a young age. They seen a lot of shit, and he always had them with him.
He had an obsession with Vanessa's lips. You know, he was constantly trying to kiss her lips, and he was always grabbing her and squeezing her cheek and grabbing her lips. He loved, you know, his kids so much. He constantly wanted to be with his children.
He gave them everything. We gave them everything that they could have, stuff that we didn't have. I'm saying, because we didn't grow up with anything. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they wanted, they got. He used to say to teach them to defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? It was a discipline thing. You know, if they argue or they fight or they used to not like behave the proper way, he would never spank them, but he would make them box each other, which that would drive the kids crazy.
That's hilarious.
He would wake them up at like 3 a.m. to make them box. And I'm like, hello, you know, they're sleeping. Liza, wake up the kids. And Liza would go upstairs and get the kids and bring them down. And he put their gear on and he'd make them be knocking each other out.
My son or something would be crying or whatever. And he'll tell his son, yo, go put on the gloves. Tell his daughter, go put on the gloves. And he just had them thumping. You know what I mean? This way, they, you know, that's real shit right there. You know what I mean? Because a lot of kids grow up and with 9 out of 10, your mother's babies you. My son falls on the floor. You don't hear nobody going, ooh, because my son falls on the floor. I just get the fuck back up. You know what I mean? And people who don't do that, a lot of times, their kids grow up to be soft individuals. And that's the one thing I respect about.
Damn, that's crazy, boy. Yo, right? Yo, he blew through that money. Didn't know how to act. Didn't know how to act, Alexi. It sound like that. It was sound like that. Stroke, heart attack. Wow.
I'm part of the family, man. Is that he taught his kids self-defense, and not just the boys, them girls too. You know what I mean? The girls up there swinging their fists too, and that's something real important to me. You know what I mean? Because a lot of kids go out there and they get hurt, and you know things of that, and it lowers their self-esteem. So that's a great reflection for me, from my point of view, of a great family, man. That Pun was. You know what I mean?
You know, you see how tough they are now. That's because Pun got them tough. You know what I mean? He disciplined his kids. He showed them what it's gonna be like. His daughter fucking knock you out right now. You know. The bottom line right now, you know what I'm saying? You might beat up little Chris. His daughter will knock you the fuck out right now. So as a father, I think he was a beautiful father. As far as I know, Big Pun was a great father. Right.
As far as in the house, it was a rule that you can't fall asleep. Whoever was the first person to fall asleep,
I hate those games.
Getting wet.
We invented a game called, well, he invented it, but I named it, called Wet Dreams. And he just, you know, you see him asleep, he's chilling, you're 5 in the morning, you're drunk, and then just smash you with a bottle of water and then, you know, cold ice, so you can almost catch a heart attack when you wake up. You know, that's his games to the extreme. You know, so fun. We call on cameras.
This is Big Clay with Wet Dreams on Channel Dick in Your Mouth. www.dick in Your Mouth.
Yo, that's the worst, yo. When that water hit you, you don't know what's going on. Yo, I saw a vid where Pun hit his wife with a gun. Yeah, Gaines said that earlier. I mean, straight drop. That's crazy,
man. We went to All-Star Cafe. So we all sitting at the booth and shit, whatever. So Tone's man goes to the bathroom and shit. So he leaves his phone on top of the table and shit. Hey,
Yo, that shit was mad funny. The whole afternoon Pun was fucking around going like this, like under his stomach and putting that shit in niggas' faces. They could smell that shit. Yo, that shit smell like ass. so Pun takes the nigga's phone and like rubs that shit up on his stomach and puts that shit back. So I'm dying. Money comes back. We just die. Everybody laughing. You know what I'm saying? The niggas like, damn, everybody laughing at. The nigga's phone ring. Yo, they grab the phone. Niggas like this.
Oh.
Yo, nigga made that. Yo, that shit was just like the funniest shit in the world, man.
He had a lot of respect for me, man. You know what I'm saying? There was certain things he wouldn't do in front of me that he would do in front of other people, whatever the case may be, all the way around. He didn't even like hanging out with me because he knew he couldn't do his crazy shit. Like shoot fucking old ladies with water guns out his car and then trying to make people catch heart attacks on M80s at him and shit.
Oh.
I wouldn't let him do that. So with me, I'm boring. I'm whack. Saying, yo, Joe, yo, Pun, we don't need a gun right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got 4 right now. Yo, Pun, we don't need that
4.
right now.
I got 4 guns.
We knew how to have fun and we were laughing. But like his dark side, which was basically my whole, you know, it was more bad times than good times. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the main reasons why I had all that jewelry and all them cars was because out of guilt. They were guilt gifts. I was basically a battered wife for 12 years.
Christopher was an abusive husband. He beat Liza. There's no other way to go around that. He treated her really poorly, which was amazing because I knew that he loved her. So it's so odd that she was his sun, his moon, and his stars, yet he abused her.
He wouldn't want me watching talk shows. Because talk shows are talking about cheating and they talk about abuse and talk about whatever. So for me not to get any ideas, you know what I'm saying? He didn't want to have no girlfriends because, you know, they bad influence or whatever. So they want me to go into school because, you know, God forbid I get an education. I realize, you know, what the hell I'm doing in my life. You know, there's so much more I could do out there. You know what I'm saying? So he just tried to keep me, you know, in his palm of his hand. And he would do that a lot with fear. You know what I'm saying? By kicking my ass, putting fear into my heart.
I was there when a lot of things happened. You know what I'm saying? That I know my man wasn't, how can I put that carefully? Basically, you know, I was there in incidents where I seen a lot of things I wish I hadn't seen that also affected me, you know what I'm saying? Because I was 18 years old, 19, you know, I'm still learning, you know what I'm saying, things about life. And, you know, but there was a lot of things that I seen that I didn't back him up on. My relationship as a friend is to just sit back, you know what I'm saying, and just be a friend. And I kicked the truth many times. And it wasn't something that was really for me to say. After a while, it became something to say. He couldn't hold it back from me. He couldn't say, yo, mind your business. Because I've been there from the get-go, so I have to tell him. And it's shit that he was ashamed of, you know, and he apologized, and he just didn't know sometimes what that anger came from.
The abuse got really bad. I mean, to this day, I thank God that I'm not dead, because I could have been. I've been hit, smacked, punched, gun clapped, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You name it, I've been through it. He had this real dark side, you know what I'm saying? And he would want to kill me. He would get upset or whatever problems he had, or any pain that he had, anybody got upset, especially a lot of from his past, like with his mom and all that. So anything that he went through, I paid the price, basically. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he would take it out on me because he knew I would always be there for him. I guess, you know, I will always be there for him, that I will never leave him. I said I will always have his back. So I guess he felt safe. It's kind of weird, but he like felt safe that he could take out everything on me, but then wake up in the morning still know that I will have his back.
He was the type of guy that he loved you to death. You know what I'm saying? So he would try anything to keep you with him, around him. So he did, you know, he loved you. His love was so big that made him do sometimes, you know, stupid shit. You know, and, you know, it was just crazy, the relationship between him and Liza. You know, you look at Liza and be like, yo, Liza been through a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why the fuck she stayed with him, but she stood with him. And Pun would be like, yo, I don't know why the fuck I'm still with her. And he stood with her. So it was that love, like you had to just respect from a distance and be like, fuck it, if she handles it, who the fuck am I to, you know, jump in and say, you know, that's not right.
She's a very strong woman. I think she did it because she loved him back. She took it because she loved him.
Liza did things for my grandson I don't think anybody else would do. She would do things for my grandson that I don't think I would have done for my husband in the same situation.
His children spent a month with me here in Florida while he was in the rehab in North Carolina. And my children do prayers every night.
You know what it is, Sundown?
Sons and daughters. So I have my nieces and...
They kind of do sign a little, but it's because they're both New Yorkers from the Bronx and they're Hispanic. So, you know.
Nephew do the prayers also the month that they were here every night. And every time we finish our prayers, I ask my kids to make a wish for something that they would like.
Two Hispanics from the Bronx, from the same era.
My kids always so imagine. And, you know, silly things. But Vanessa made a wish that Papi would stop hitting
from the hood, because what I know from the hood.
And I started to cry because what an awful wish for a little girl to have to make, right? So I told my brother I need to speak with him, and we went up to his room. At that point, he can still go up the stairs to his room because at the end he couldn't climb the stairs anymore. But at that point, he was, I would say, about 350, 400 maybe. And he went up the stairs and we went to his bedroom. And I said, Christopher, listen to me. While the kids were with me in Florida, this happened, you know. And I want to talk to you about that. And he stopped me right there. And he said, let me stop you right there. And I said, what? He goes, I don't want to hear it. I've never hit my wife. I said, yes, you have. He said, no, that's a lie. My daughter would never say something like that. He called Vanessa upstairs. Now, of course, she's going to say I lied. So he said, did you tell, Titi Pina this? She said, no, papi, I didn't. You see? You're the liar. I'm like, so I looked at her like, you're not helping me. You're not making this easy on Titi. But I understand, she's a child and she was afraid.
Everybody was getting ready for to go on tour. We were going on tour in Texas. And his family was there. Pina was there. His grandmother, Pina's husband, Hector. Mach was there. His DJ, LeVar. Few cats, kids, Pina's kids. So he had this gat under the pillow that he was looking for. And I left it there. That's where I put it. So he was looking for the gat and he could find it. I'm like, it's there. I put it there. No, it's not here. So I'm like, I don't know where it's at. Oh, how do you know? How is that you don't know where it's at? I'm like, I left it there. Then it came out that someone had moved it, whether it been the grandmother or someone had moved it besides me, which I didn't know nothing about.
She misplaced something and it wasn't even her fault. It was actually my husband's fault. I don't even know if she knows that. There was something that Chris wanted and Liza put it in a certain place, but my husband felt that it was dangerous for it to be there. He saw it. So my husband moved it. Now, Chris asked Liza to go get this item and it wasn't where Liza left. Chris is like, Liza, you better find it. You better find it. He was, getting really irate and she was getting very nervous. And to finally, my husband came up to me, thank God. And he was like, I know where, what it is you're talking about. It's behind the bed. So I run and I tell Liza, it's behind the bed. Hector moved it. So she ran to go get it, gives it to Chris, and Chris knocks her across the face with it.
And he just came and he swung at me and hit me with the gat in my face. And my eye just went out. And it was closed shut. It was like so much pain. I felt like I got shot in my eye. I thought my eyeball came out. And I just grabbed it and I just screamed and I ran up the stairs. You know what I'm saying? And I went to the bathroom and Pina was there with the kids. And her little daughter, Rebecca, was crying. To this day, she still remembers. It's crazy.
I mean, just totally knocks her across the face with it. I ran up the stairs and I'm with all my nieces and my nephews and my kids. We were all in the house and we're all hugging each other. And all of a sudden, Liza's like dragging herself up the stairs and blood is gushing from her eyes. Damn. And I'm like, I'm screaming, come up, please. And I'm screaming, please, Liza, come up. He can't come up the stairs. He can't get you, come up the stairs. And she's crawling up the stairs and, and I grab her and I'm holding her against me and there's blood all over me. I mean, it was awful. It was really bad. And he's like, Pina, you better make her come down. I'm like, no, I'm not making her come down. You want her, you come up and you come get her.
Then my eye fall out and she's like trying to look with the blood, but she can't really tell. And she's stressed and she's shaky. And then Chris is coming from downstairs screaming, what the fuck, you bitch, come down. All this shit you are, whatever. And I'm just like stressed and I'm pacing. And I was pacing upstairs, right? And in my room, in my room I had this shotgun and I was about to load it and come downstairs and blast a nigga. That's my word. I was going to blast him. I said, like, I come downstairs and niggas going to kill shit off. You know what I'm saying? So I just got the courage to come downstairs. I came down.
It's definitely more than
and that was it. I came down the steps and he was like, that's it, suck it up. You know what I'm saying? And just let's keep unpacking. Let's go. I threw on some shades. I wiped my face. Everybody in the house was like this. Everybody started breaking out mad quick. Oh, let me go, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Pina was still stressed. She was upset. She was arguing with him, whatever. And he's, mind my business. Mind your business. My wife. I do whatever I want. That sort of shit. And I packed my shit and I bounced for a whole month on tour.
He did it in front of me, so he couldn't say anymore that he never hit Liza. I don't know if I want to say I learned from that point not to meddle anymore because I always ended up the loser. Because then Chris was mad at me. Liza went back anyway. Like, hello. But it didn't matter. Even if he got mad at me, the next day Chris was fine. Because he knew that I loved him. He wouldn't accept anyone hitting me. Never. If he even thought that my husband or my ex-husband laid a hand on me, my brother, I'm being honest, he would kill him. So why do you do it?
It's just crazy, but that's life. That's how shit is. It started when he got his money, that money from the lawsuit. When he got his money, then he was like, it was easy ride from there. Like, he got his car and he was just driving around. He was just on Mac mode, just chilling, driving around, taking niggas out in the hood. So he wasn't physically, doing anything. He had problems growing up, he had issues that he never resolved. And with him, his addiction was food. So if he was upset, he ate. If we was broke for a while and we just got dough, we mad happy, we would eat. If he was bored, he would eat.
So that's the disease he had. Like Moxie said, come along. Man, he's just eating, man. Yeah, but like depression. I mean, some people like yo, they just Lexi was right. Yo, some people like that, man. It's like everyone has their own coping system. I'm not gonna lie, man. I love food, yo, but I can't eat a lot of food in one sitting. I like throughout the day, I eat a lot of small meals or medium size. I can't like eat these big plates. Like sit down. Nah, I'm not like that.
So everything was with the food. Like the first year of my marriage, I didn't even know how to cook. It used to be, IHOPs for breakfast, it'll be Bennigan's for lunch, and it'll be Red Lobster for dinner. This was every day.
Oh,
So
shit.
then the weight started escalating a little more. Not so much, little here and there, little 2 sizes. Oh, now he's a 40, now he's a 42, you know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And go to a big and tall store, the 2X, the 3X, the 4X shirts, then it was the 5X shirts, and then it was the 6X shirts.
Damn.
And after 6X, they don't make any more than 6X shirts and big and tall. So I'm buying 6X shirts, and then I'm like stretching them out.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I had a manager of mine. He was big pun size. He passed away, Puerto Rican cat. He was big pun size. This is back in like 2016. He was my manager, 2015. And my boxing coach knew him. My boxing, yeah, man. He should have been on doing something, man. My boxing coach knew him. And one day we were just talking on the phone, and my coach was like, "Oh, yo, such and such, yo, he passed away." I couldn't believe it. Well, I could believe it because the dude was late 30s, early 40s, and he's up there in weight, man. We talking like 400 pounds, yo. That motherfucker could eat, yo. And he wasn't tall. He was a little shorter than me, so he was like 5'8", 5'9". 400 pounds, bro. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. That man died before he wasn't even 45.
What do this thing with the shirt? If I had a shirt, I would show you. I take the shirt, you can put your sleeves, you put your hands up in the side up here, and you just stretch it out. Like put it on your back and just stretch the shirt out. So I had to stretch the shirt out, you know what I'm saying? And I will put my feet inside the shirt. This is the whole process for him to get the shirt. I'll put my feet in the shirt, then I'll put it under my butt, and then stretch the shirt up this way and put my legs on the stretch to make it long. Because after I made it wide, now it's too wide, but now it's up to here. You know what I'm saying? So I had to make it long. So,
it made us a little uncomfortable. Like, Chris, you got to lose weight. Why are you into it? No, I'm all right. I'm strong. I'm this and that. I'm like, okay. But what I saw when it was becoming pretty much an addiction or a sickness, what he had, we used to go out to McDonald's or Burger King, and Chris loved fast food. And he had this thing that he always had to have Liza's last bite of food. No matter what they were eating, Liza could not eat the last bite of the meal. He had to eat it. So he had his own meal, plus Liza's last bite, her last 2 fries, her last bite of the Big Mac, whatever it was, he had to have it. But that's everywhere now. Every restaurant they went to, every meal, his meal plus her last bite. I would say, Chris, all her last bites, after you're having like 2 extra meals a day.
There was times that he would eat a lot. But then there was a time in his life that he would just eat like a normal man. You know what I'm saying? Whether he had gland problems or, I don't know he has heavy family on his mother's side. But like I said, he never checked himself in the hospital. He never used to the whole time that I was with him, the whole 10 years, he never went to a physical, he never went to the doctor, nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? It became a problem after a while. I remember after when he did the first album, he was on the first tour, he was heavy, but he also held his weight pretty good, because at 300, 400 pounds, he was still riding bike, he was still playing basketball, running around. And on his first album, he was maybe like 450 pounds, but he was on tour, he was running around, doing shows, illicit shows, you know what I'm saying? Not a problem.
No, I don't think so.
Towards the end of Capital Punishment, and going into Your Baby was like a period there that he wasn't really doing anything, and he would just be home, you know what I'm saying? So from then, he started getting a little heavier and heavier. And then from then, he couldn't fit into no more big and tall clothes. Now I got Troy from 5,001 Flavors, I'm saying, doing his clothes. And it just got worse and he would just get heavier. And after a time, he knew there was time that he had to lose weight. And he went through his time that when he was like 400, 450 pounds, he would try to lose weight. He would go to the gym where he had his trainer, Mitch, and he would box. He would train there. And after he stopped that, when he got into the music, he couldn't really do the whole boxing thing as much. But then in the house, you know what I'm saying, he would talk about like how he wants to lose weight, and I'll go buy healthy food, and I wouldn't fry anything and bake, the stuff. And he'll go have me sit down with a list and a paper of a whole schedule, what time he's going to wake up. Everything was like to perfection. But then comes the next day, and so he went follow through with the plan.
He said he going on a diet. I walk in the house, I better not see no Chinese food. I better not see shit. And my wife admits to sneaking them food behind my back. You know, everyone did. You know, the old, yo, he liked to eat. What the fuck? That made him happy. I used to give him chicken wings. I used to give him all that. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Yo, when they almost beat him down over that shit. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, man, he used to like the waffles, man, with the this. I'm like, yo, it's incredible, man. You know what? What could you do, man? In this world, you just gotta try to find happiness, man.
When I used to go out with Joe on shows, and it was sometimes be hard for him to get dressed. That's without me being there. So I started realizing that it was going to be a problem. And then as time escalated even more, it started getting worse. And then there was a time that he couldn't do anything for himself. He couldn't use a bathroom by himself. He couldn't take a bath by himself. He couldn't get dressed by himself. He couldn't clean himself by himself. I did everything. I was basically like a home nurse. Now it was like a job.
I was nervous, you know, I was nervous that he was going to stop breathing because he was losing his breath in his sleep, you know? So that's when I started getting really worried, and I would tell Liza, you know, is he going to choke? You know, and she's like, no, that's how he sleeps. You know, he's fine. But to her, what was normal to me was, you know, fear.
Pun came in the crib, and every place he went, he sat. It's like, and this was my first really time kicking it with him, and I was just like, I'm that kind of cat. You know, if I meet your man for the first time and he's high, I'm gonna go to somebody and say, yo, man, your man's real high, you know? If I meet somebody, so I seen it, I'm like, yo, is he really carrying that weight? Okay, you know? They go, yo, and I said, nah, just ain't right, you know? And then next time I seen him, it was like we would stand. It was like he was standing like on one foot and stuff. I'm like, yo, man, that ain't healthy.
Doing the Mr. Servon video shoot. That's when I had asked him, you know, we had talked about the book thing. And before he can answer about him trying to write a book, he was standing up in pain, couldn't answer. But before he was about to answer, someone had left from the sofa that was about 10 feet away. And he saw that his eyes opened, and the closest I've ever seen to Pun run was to that couch. Like, it was hurting. Once he sat on that couch, he answered any question. You know, Pun was just talking. We was all talking. We was all in a group talking, and he just fell asleep. Like that's how we talking right now. It's like all of us, you know what I mean? Everybody, and he just fell asleep, and it scared me because I ain't never seen that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never seen that shit in nobody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because he was, operating. Like, yo, no. And then the next second, I was like, yo, Pun. And then he was just snoring and shit. And I was like, yo, I didn't know what it was, but I just knew it wasn't good. You know what I mean?
When we went out to the Grammys, he was calling doctors to find out how much it cost to do the stomach taping. And he wanted to do it. Family member of mine told him that it was dangerous. So he, you know, Chris was very paranoid to begin with of doctors, you know, so he totally changed his mind. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do stomach taping. So there went that out the window. I got upset with Chris because he didn't want to listen. So I went over his head and I called Steve Rifkin. And I told him, look, my brother is very overweight and I'm worried about him. I know you look at him as dollar signs, but he's my brother. And you guys better figure out a way for him to lose his weight because he's not listening to me. I can't afford to go and take him to the doctor, but you guys can. So you take some of that money that you're making from his album and you go pay and you get him to a doctor. I don't remember what Steve told me. I think he said, like, you know, Chris is a grown man, you know, and he knows what he can and cannot do or something. You know, I'm not sure exactly what his words were to me. Steve was a little sharp with me. Now, Christopher got upset, not with me, but with Steve for getting sharp with me. So he called Steve, and I don't know what he told him. But then the next day, Steve called me to tell me, look, we're going to put him in a doctor. You know, I apologize if I offended you in any way. I mean, Steve was very apologetic to me. I didn't mean to upset Steve, you know, and I didn't mean to upset Chris. You know, I had, like I said, goal. I just want my brother to get some help. And, you know, sometimes you have to step on some toes to get what you want. And, you know, I stepped on a few toes.
He was telling me like, yo, Joe, man, I feel sick, or, you know, my legs hurt or some shit like that. And I was just like, wow, this nigga's getting sick. I would do anything for Pun, whatever he would want to do. So we forced him to go to North Carolina. He lost weight. He was looking good.
Oh, yeah.
He went to a fat farm in North Carolina. He lost 80 pounds. He landed up visiting us here on a weekend trip and never went back. And that's the worst thing he did, because that's when he doubled all his weight.
Chris was a celebrity. He could get anybody to sneak him in some food, you know, and that's what Chris was doing for a while. So
damn. So he went, lost weight. And then came back and even got bigger. Damn. Lost 80 pounds, yo. You wild, bro. That's crazy.
Defeated the purpose. He went to North Carolina. He lost 100 pounds. He came out. He gained 300 pounds. You know, so
Damn.
It didn't work. He needed my mom to be a mom. You know, he needed to be nurtured, and Chris was never nurtured. And all that, after so many years, it just builds and builds and builds. And he was just full of anger and confusion. I think he was confused. He didn't understand why he was treated the way he was, why he was shunned out, why he wasn't given the love that he should have received as a growing child, you know? And
good, Omni, what up, bro?
Built up in him.
What up?
And I believe that's what made him so depressed. To be
yeah,
that's what made him eat the way that he did. Then as he ate so much and became so obese, that made him depressed. Because even though Chris was big pun and everybody loved him and he went out, there was so many things that he couldn't do because of his weight. He couldn't go take his kids to an amusement park and get on the roller coasters and the rides with the kids. He couldn't do it. He couldn't go to an amusement park, period. I would tell him all the time, let's take the kids to Disney. He would say, okay, how am I supposed to walk around Disney? I say, no, they have those little motorized wheelchairs. Oh yeah, pun in a motorized wheelchair. How cool, you know? All that mentally affects you.
I kept telling him, oh, Chris, you're living my dream. You know, I always wanted to be on stage. I was always the one that was into the performing and, you know, and he goes, yeah, well, you're living my dream. And I'm like, what dream is that? You know, you're married, you have children. He's like, no, you're fit. You can walk, you can breathe. You know, and I think that was a real heartbreaking comment that he made to me. And I think that was kind of hard for him to admit.
God gave you a gift so you could give your children what you never had. And you're just throwing it away by eating KFC and buckets of hamburger. This doesn't make any sense, Chris. It doesn't make it. I will go there and make him salmon. I'll make him lettuce and tomatoes. And he would say, yeah, I'm going to eat what I make. I want to start losing weight. I'll give him apple juice, you know, things that I said is good for him. Then I go to Ferrari. So he knew that at 10 o'clock I wasn't going upstairs and going out. I would come back down a bucket of KFC and the hamburgers, and I would say, Christopher. And you know what? A little pillow somewhere with
Nah, Sundown, I think that it was part of his appeal, kind of like Biggie. Being big was part of their appeal and made him stand out. And talking about the ladies and, you know, being like a fly big dude, that was part of their appeal. I mean, but yeah, man.
More with the tuna, whatever. Oh, he was terrible. He was terrible.
Even Heavy D.
I never saw anybody eat like this.
I was dying to get Chris to go to a doctor because Chris was paranoid with doctors. I don't know what the fear was, but he was afraid of doctors. And I'm like, you know, my doctor's really cool, Chris. You know, you can go there. He's real cool. He's going to be down to earth with you. He's just, you know, going to take some blood and check you out. Nah. Come on. He's like, nah, but what if people see me going into the doctor's office? You know, people are going to automatically assume I'm sick. And then they're going to write in the magazines that I'm sick. And I'm like, all right, there's got to be a way around this. I call my doctor. You know, I want you to see my brother. You know, is there a way we could get him in there without anyone see him? He said, sure, bring him in through the back.
And he comes in through the back door and he's in the parking lot. And I open up the back door. He's sitting there. He's leaning on a car, having trouble breathing. I see this massive person. He must have been like 700 pounds plus. Massive. Wow. Having difficulty breathing, really. Having shortness of breath. I immediately saw that. Very apprehensive coming in.
He went in, sat down. Dr. Hirschman just, whoa. You know, when he saw Chris, he was like, he couldn't believe how big Chris was. You know, he thought I was exaggerating. You know, I guess. I'm like, my brother's really big. You need to help him, you know. But he heard me, but he didn't realize it until he saw Christopher.
This is a guy who is completely out of control, eating terrible lifestyle, staying up all night, not sleeping, eating tremendous quantities of food. And I had to really, really scare him, but in a nice way. And I scared everyone around him. But this is a serious problem. We have a very sick person here who can die at any minute. To see that and really a person that was truly alone with this and not being able to really have the power to change it or to focus in on that and do what it took to get better. As a doctor, it's literally pitiful. As sure as I'm standing here, it's going to happen.
I'm glad we went, you know, because if Chris, you know, if that gave Chris another year with me and with the kids, you know, and everybody, then I appreciated every second, every minute that I had more with Christopher. I appreciate it. And if those pills and that doctor and those blood tests gave me that extra year that he lived, it was worth it to me.
Sometimes we'll stay here for 2 or 3 days, then go to the studio, stay there in Sony studio in the basement for 2 or 3 days, then come back up here. And when he was in the studio, he was basically working. And when he came back up here, it was just, 2 or 3 days out of the rest, him catching up in the writing, try to go down to the pool so he could work out. He liked being in the pool because, you feel light. If you're a heavy person and you're in the pool, you can do anything in the pool. You feel light. You don't feel your weight. So he always said, I love being in the pool because I don't feel my weight. I feel normal. So I can run around. I can jump. You know what I'm saying?
I told him, Christopher, I'm going to go across and buy the kids some things at the Toys R Us because the hotel had a tunnel that connected to a mall. He didn't want to let me leave at all. It was just so odd. He goes, no, don't go to Toys R Us. I said, I want to buy the kids some presents. No, stay with me. Don't leave me. I'm like, okay. I said, well, I'm going to go downstairs and get them some candy from the lobby. No. Send Liza, send somebody else. Don't go. Reef, Carlos, call anybody to go down. Don't leave me. I'm like, you are weird today. So we started talking about his weight and he said, Bina, tell me something. He goes, you think that stomach taping thing, you think it really works? And I said, yes. I couldn't believe he brought it up again. I was like, yes. He goes, I think I want to do it. And I said, well, Chris, I'll do everything I got to do. I'll call the doctors tomorrow. When on Monday when I get back, I'll call the doctors. I'll figure out where, what you got to do, how much it costs, and we'll do this. I said, you come and stay in Florida? He goes, yeah, I'll come and stay in Florida. I'll come and stay with you. He goes, you're gonna take care of me, though, right? I said, I'll take care of you. I do everything I got to do. What do I have to do? He goes, no, I'm just saying, you're gonna help me through it if I do it. I said, I will do anything I have to help you through this. We're gonna do this. He said, we're gonna do this. So he says, I don't want to sleep tonight. I want to stay up all night. He said, let's go to the pool. I said, my flight leaves at 6 a.m. I'm going to sleep. He said, no, let's go to the pool. We went to the swimming pool, me, him, Liza, the kids. He sent for Liza to get her brother, to have her brother come down to the hotel. He was just very weird at night. He got in the pool. He played with Rebecca. He was throwing her back and forth. He played with Heather. He was having the best time.
That weekend I had spoke to him and I said, this is really ridiculous. You got to get checked in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? And he just begged me. He was like, let me just do these 3 more songs. I got 3 more songs I got to do. I'm saying once I'm done with that, you can send me wherever, anywhere, I'll do whatever. So I was like, all right.
I was on the computer looking for information on stomach taping. I got several different doctors' names. I got places like Fat Farm type places where you go and you actually stay there. I mean, I drew up all this information. I even called my job that day and said that I wasn't coming into work. And I called Liza. It was around 9 a.m. now. And I said, Liza, I got information. I said, wake up Chris. She says, no, he's tired. He's sleepy. He doesn't want to get up. I said, all right. Well, call me when he gets up. She called me at around 11. And she said, Pina, look, your brother, he's having trouble breathing. Your brother hates water. And he's asked me for like about 8 glasses of water.
Oh,
she goes, I don't know what's wrong with him. I said, well, Liza, call the doctor, see if the doctor could come to the hotel. She said that she did, but that the doctor was on vacation or something. The doctor couldn't come. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, well, what are you gonna do? She goes, no, let's just wait a little while. I'm gonna give him the water. Maybe it'll go away. I said, all right, Liza, well, let me know.
Something was kind of weird. I thought that something was gonna happen. And I had called my assistant and I told him, I said, listen, it was around 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock. I told him, I said, don't even bring my kids here because I know something's going to go down and I'm not sure what it is. So, I'd rather you take them to my mother's house because I know my brother's there. So she calls me. She's like, yo, this nigga ain't doing too good. Reef went to go get the kids.
That nigga.
So I'm going to have Reef drop off the kids by your crib. And then he's going to shoot back up here. She was like, this nigga don't want me to call an ambulance, but I called an ambulance because it looks, I'm scared. So I was like, all right, just, I'm here, don't worry about it. Just call me, everything's gonna be all right.
I leaned his head back and I tried to see if I could give him CPR or something. His head was right here, but it was like his tongue was sticking out so much. And he had like so much saliva. And it was like, I couldn't do it. So then I came and I grabbed him and I picked him up. And he was just still shaking. And I just grabbed him. And, for that minute, I was like, oh my God, I'm losing my husband. He's dying on me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like his whole life flashed in front of my eyes. I just like saw everything from the beginning to the end, everything that we've been through, everything that we've gone through. And it was just like a real weird feeling. I called Joe, I had the phone in this hand, and then I had my other hand on his by his phone. And I'm telling Joe, yo, you gotta come down here, right away, there's some shit going on right here. So he's like, right away, so he hung up the phone. And right when I hung up the phone, his pulse, I ain't feel nothing on his neck, he had no pulse. And like 2-3 seconds later, the paramedics came. Basically, I gave them their space, you know what I'm saying, like 15, 20 minutes. 5 minutes later, the kids come, so like, yeah, what's up, kid? Hey, watch TV. Boom, it was like 3 o'clock already, the kids coming out of school. So they watch the TV, boom, the phone rings again, Nala calls me, I come over. She's like, yo, ambulance here, this nigga stop breathing. She was like, yo, he's not breathing, they working on him. I'm like, I'm bugging. Then I gotta go back to the kids and everything's crazy, well, mommy and daddy been here a little while. At this point, they came and they brought a dolly because that's what they had to bring him out in. And I'm running around from this room and my kid's room next door here, and I'm bringing them sheets and a whole bunch of sheets and blankets so they could tie his hands and they tied his legs together because he was really wide. While they lifted him up, I'm holding his head. They lift him on the dolly, they place him there. I get a pillow, shove it in the front of his head. And from there, they just rolled him out all to the front, went up the elevator, down the back, out the pool. Once we got to the side of the building, the ambulance was there, so the guy was
taking out the bed that's already in there. You know, the metal pieces, they were emptying out the ambulance. They could put the dolly up in there. And from there, I just really broke down. I just started crying. And I prayed so hard to God, like, please.
Is he okay? She said, he didn't make it. And I said, what do you mean he didn't make it? He didn't make it to the hospital? You know, is he in the hotel? She said, he didn't make it. You know, your brother died. He didn't make it. And I can't explain to you what that felt like. It was like a building fell on me. It was, I can't explain it. It's, my whole world collapsed because my brother was the center of my life at that moment. He was, I looked at my brother as strength, as, you know, nothing could tear him down. You know, why was this happening? I said, it can't be. I was just there yesterday. Liza, I just left. I was just there. She said, I know, Bina, I know. I said, I can't. I just started screaming. I threw the phone to the floor. But you know what? Then Liza said, you need to call your family and let them know. I'm like, I had 30 seconds to grieve for my brother before I had to become now the family. You know, I had to let everyone. I had to call my grandmother. I had to call my mother and tell her that her son died. I had to call my uncles. I had to call my sisters and I had to call everyone. So I had 30 seconds to bang my head against the window, because that's what I did. I went to my sliding glass door and I just didn't want to believe it. Then I got the phone and I called my mom. My mom didn't believe me.
And I stood with the phone in my hand, just staring at the phone, just like in shock, in a daze, like praying, God, don't let it be happening now. You know, it's too soon. My son cannot leave me yet. You know, he's got so much going for him, and he's, you know.
I'm used to young people dying by getting shot. You know, a lot of my friends died, you know, by getting shot, killed, or accident. You know, I never seen a young nigga die because he was fat. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, you know, broke my fucking heart. Just broke my shit. You know, yo, went to sin. My day was laying down like that. And I cried my ass off. But I apologize for everything. I love him to death. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother.
So, no matter how fat Pun was, we didn't think he was gonna die.
After he passed away, it was about a week that I just stood by myself.
You still gotta count that one though.
My 3 kids, I had 3 people appointed in the family. They were taking charge of each child. That night when we was in Cuba's house, Jimmy was there from Jimmy's Bronx Cafe. He was the one that made all the arrangements, you know what I'm saying, for the funeral. I didn't have to do anything. I just said that the way he wanted to be cremated. And for his clothing, they had his designer, which is Troy from 5001, you know, do his outfit. And basically all I had to do was give them a list of who was coming down from his side of the family, like from Florida, which was his sisters, you know, his mother, his grandmother. That's basically it. And Jimmy, he took care of everything. It was at the Ortiz Funeral Home right there at Westchester Avenue in the Bronx. I went in my truck. They had a limo there for me, but I was like, you know, we rolled in my truck, and I had my kids with me, and I had my family behind in the limo. We got there. It was already crowds of people, cameras, a lot of reporters, police. It was a weird feeling because, you know, I'm here, you know, I don't know how I'm going to react to see my husband, you know, laying there.
Yeah, too.
And when I got there, I didn't even think about it. It was just so many people, so much commotion going on. I felt like mad pressure. Reporters trying to get a comment, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, these people better stay out my face, yo, for real, you know what I'm saying?
When I got there, I just couldn't believe the amount of people that I saw out there. I mean, lines and blocks of people.
One kid came in and took off his shirt and threw himself down and started praying to Chris. And I'm like, who's this kid, you know?
Oh, there was a funeral home? My grandmother, that's over there on 190th, right? My grandmother funeral was there.
He inspired me. What he did, everything he accomplished, you know, he says, he gave a lot of us hope. A lot of us from the Bronx that, you know, don't think we can do it. I think I can do it. Everybody loved him so much.
The most impressive thing about it wasn't the A-list. It wasn't the A-list celebrities and all the celebrities that came by. It was how the fans, man, I can't even describe how much of the street they took. It just went around, police barricading, just shit. Must have been a good 3 avenues worth. Not 3 blocks, 3 avenues. That would be about 6 blocks of just all around.
Once again, it was my job to protect Pun, to make him look the best, to give him whatever he wanted. We didn't only put him in the funeral home, we rented the whole fucking funeral home, like every room. We took you know how there's 4 different funeral rooms? There was one for refreshments. There was one for flowers.
It was just, very emotional, man. Very people crying over his casket. I mean, pain. Every member of Terror Squad had a tear in their eye. I can tell you that much. Every member, whether it be friend or foe, whoever it was, whoever went, whoever passed by, walked by the casket, we made like an orderly procession of it. We didn't want anything to be said that it was a mockery. That's why we made sure through Jimmy's and Mr. Rodriguez and his family and our friends, and we made sure that even our security staff from Jimmy's Brown's Cafe worked that event, and we held it down so that no one could say anything like, "Oh, this such and such a thing happened at Pun's funeral." No, nothing. It was clean, beautiful, and it went perfect.
Funeral was really weird. It was like you get a lot of mixed emotions because I understand that he was Big Pun and he was famous and people loved him and they admired him, especially in the Bronx. We all grew up in the Bronx and he refused to leave. He said, "This is my home. This is where I'm staying." And, he was born there. He was raised there. He died there. And he was buried there. It's like you want to go in there and you want to be with your family and you want to grieve and you want to mourn. But then at the same time, the way they had everything set up, it was like a museum. And at times I don't know, I had very mixed emotions about it because people were coming in and, they had the ropes around him. And everybody's looking at him like it was King Tut's tomb or something. I'm like, this is my brother. This is a person. This is not a display.
It was more a spectacle because we believe in going to church. And when you're on the way to the cemetery for your last rites, we believe in having a Catholic priest there. We didn't have that. We would not ask. We would totally ignore. I stood in a corner.
So you worked in the
and it was like we were
90s.
not part of what was going on. The day that we're going to the cremation, we go slow. We go by his block to give the people the last look where he came from. None of that was done. I don't know who it was, but we got to the car was going, the lift was going maybe 80 miles an hour. I never saw anything like this in my whole life. It was just completely disorganized. But I also say young people don't bury young every day. They were probably trying to do it their way. It was incorrect, but that was their way. The only thing I complain is that we were never asked, what would you like? Because everybody that went to that funeral, his family, everybody loved Pun, but nobody loved him more than me.
You got some of the family don't like the other half of the family, and we have to put up with it. But most of all, it went smooth, man. A lot of things happened with Pun that a lot of other people wouldn't let happen. Like, we let the public come through, his fans, come through and see him and show him love, and so many flowers, so many people, the weirdest people, the Whitney Houston, Eminem's, Cypress Hill must have sent 40 flowers. Like different shits. Like they love Pun. He was truly missed. He was loved. Everybody came to the funeral. Everybody from Puff Daddy, Little Kim and their whole crew to LL. Mac 10 flew from LA, the Locks, the whole Rough Riders, fucking Wyclef did like some singing, the Maria dudes, Bone Thugs was there. Everyone you can name came through to send their support for Pun. It's crazy. And I still remember telling them like, the day before they cremated him, or that last night, I was just like, damn, man, this is our last dance. You know what I'm saying? It's over for us. We're not here no more.
My life with him was very loving and he gave me so much, but yet he gave me a lot of hell. And him dying, part of me died, but then it's like part of me started to live again. Like it was the end of one part of my life, but it was the beginning of another. And it was the worst day of my life because I was losing my friend. I was losing the father of my kids. It was the first man I've ever been with in my life with, my first boyfriend, the first guy I had sex with. I just didn't know how I was going to, I know I'll make it. I know I survived because I survived so much already, what I went through for 10 years and I made it on my own. But it was just like how someone could just be there the night before I was just sleeping, in this room with him. And from one second to another, he's gone. That's it. I'm never going to see him again. I'm never going to hear him again. It was like the worst day. It was the best day of my life because I felt such a burden lifted from my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Because my relationship with him got up to a point
Maria boys.
I wasn't anymore. I wasn't happy. It was hard because I was carrying my own weight and I had to carry his weight. I had to be strong for myself and I had to be strong for him. And no one was there for me. You know what I'm saying? So, and just the fact of being a battered wife and trying to fight for my identity and my freedom. And there was a lot of things that went on with the marriage and it was like the best day of my life because I didn't have to deal with that no more. It was over, because even if he survived and we would have broke up, he still would have.
Yo, that's crazy, bro. it's like bittersweet. It's like she hates that he passed away because that's the love of her life, but also she's happy because now she's not gonna get abused anymore. Yeah, that's wild, y'all. That's deep.
Gave me hell. I still wouldn't be able to, get out of my life, or he still would have been there. There was no way that he would have been alive and would have been separated. We always would have been together. But the only way I felt that I could go on with my life, and he knew it too, was the only way if he wouldn't be here. So like I said, it was the worst day because, never I thought, I had to face the fact that he won't be here. He won't be here to raise my kids, to raise our kids. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna walk my daughters down the aisle or speak to my son about, the first time him having sex or, things like that. But it's the best day of my life too, because it's like he put me through so much drama, and I experienced so many things behind him that I'm just glad it's all over.
Damn. Wow, yo. That was powerful, man. That's crazy, yo. Kind of sad. Kind of sad, yo. He died at the top, too. Like, yo, like, you were that dude, bro. Big Pun was that guy. Like they said earlier, everyone loved him. Black, white, Latinos. First platinum selling Latino artist. Yeah, man. Yo, yeah. Sad. It's crazy how that shit ended, right? They should have had ended it a little bit doper than that. Right, like him doing a performance or something like, or at least her saying I love you. Damn, she was like, yo, it ended. He used to beat my ass, so I'm glad I don't gotta deal with that no more. But then again, they're being real. They're not being fake about it. Oh my God, they killed my little angel. Oh, he would never do nothing to nobody. My baby, they took my baby. At least they kept it 100, Shout out to my guy, Sundown, man. For this track right here. This shit hard, man. Classic. It's so hard. Do we wanna be like fun?
Got the Grizzy locked in the stizzy. Pop the Clizzy doing 60 down a one Wizzy. Drunk pissy. Trying to cruise through the avenue while my peoples is popping bottles up as soon as rendezvous. Fuck that. Spun the UE, lost the hubcappers. Back to the shack. Came back in a what's that? Straight from Paris. Chicken Debbie's baby cabbage. Debbie Yellis. Bird, cherry radish. Fresh out the dealer. Got the check for the squealers. Wear a vest for the killers. Nothing less cause it's realer in the Big Apple.
Not being not.
Tackled enemies. Spit at your best friends. Kidnap you. Trust no one. Got beef buzz yoga. You don't need no one. Talking about that your own. I'ma go for Dolo. Scarface without Manolo. One deep. Probably solo. But you throwing bolos. It's hard. It's hard work, baby. I just lost 100 pounds. I'm trying to live. I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying alive, baby. And it's so hard. That's my wife. I pay for them titties. Get your own, you heard? Niggas wanna fuck my wife. Niggas wanna take my life. But it's so hard. With the squad, we like guards. Catch us at the bar, the strip bars in Miami. Almost came home with the Grammy. Next year, bring you home 3 for the family. Watch me, you can catch a dive on Hitachi. Popping shit like a Nazi. Iced out like DiBiase. Fuck that, Liberace. Pro X Versace. Somebody stop it, never that.
Where my niggas at? Uptown, uptown. You know you're feeling that cash rule. Hardcore, you can dance to. That old Biggie, give me one more chance. Check a glance and I'm off with yours. With both hands and off my drawers and jerk me like the Source Awards. I love hip hop. I ain't even probably the best since alive. Feel the squad, niggas stop sleeping. What you say your name was again? And I know you from where? Elementary school. Niggas wanna be like, I don't know you, but man. Guns, and it's so hard. Money, not you again.
I don't know you.
Way. Niggas wanna fuck my wife. Niggas wanna take my life, but it's so hard. Yeah, you ain't taking my wife, taking my life. Just ain't just walk on by. All you haters just walk on by.
Hey, but yo, guys, like I said, I'll be here at 11. It's 10:58. Shout out to Sundown. Showing love. Good night, y'all. I'll be back maybe tomorrow. We'll see. And if I don't go live, I'll definitely be uploading videos. But for now, we out of here, man. Have a good night. Hit the like button on the way out. You heard? Peace. Peace. Peace.
You can catch me in the cherry red 150. Got the grizzly locked in the stizzy. Pop the glizzy doing 60 down a one wizzy. Drunk pissy. Trying to cruise through the avenue while my peoples is popping bottles up as soon as rendezvous. Fuck that. Spun the UE, lost the hubcappers. Back to the shack. Came back in a what's that? Straight from Paris. Chicken Debbie's baby carrots. Very yellows. Nice. Bird, cherry radish. Fresh out the dealer. Got the check for the squealers. Wear a vest for the killers. Nothing less cause it's realer in the Big Apple. It's quick to get your shit tackled. Enemies spit at your best friends. Kidnap you, trust no one. Got beef, buzz, yoga, you don't need no one. Talking about that you owe him, I'ma go for Dolo. Scarface with Avanola. One deep, probably a solo, but some deep throwing bolos. It's hard work, baby. I just lost 100 pounds. I'm trying to live. I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying alive, baby. Bust guns, and it's so hard. That's my wife. I pay for them titties. Get your own, you heard? Niggas wanna fuck my wife. Niggas wanna take my life. But it's so hard. With the squad, we like dogs. Catch us at the bar, the strip bars in Miami. Almost came home with the Grammy. Next year, bring you home 3 for the family. Watch me, you can catch it live on Hitachi. Popping shit like a Nazi. Iced out like DiBiase. Fuck that, Liberace. Pro X Versace. Somebody stop me, never that. Where my niggas at? Uptown, uptown. You know you're feeling that cash rule. Hardcore, you can dance to. That old Biggie, give me one more chance. Check a glance and I'm off with yours. With both hands and off my drawers and jerk me like the Source Awards. I love hip hop. I ain't even probably the best since alive. Feel the squad, niggas stop sleeping. What you say your name was again? And I know you from where? Elementary school. Niggas wanna be like, I don't know you, but man. Guns, and it's so hard. Money, not you again. Goes that way. Niggas wanna fuck my wife.